like, okay, so how do you stop caring what others think?
I think I just said it because
Yeah.
you start caring about the right thing. Because like honestly, that's the best. I've tried so fucking hard for years to stop caring what people think. You literally just have to care about more important shit. Like
Yeah.
for example, going out and talking to girls or being in a relationship, you can't care about what people are thinking of you. You have to care about what you're learning from those relationships or those interactions. And you have to care about the man that you're becoming by being in them and by pushing yourself more.
Yeah. Basically just quit being a bitch and do it. I mean, kind of, but not really though. Like you guys have to understand that like what you have to do if you want to stop caring what other people think, you have to like what Troy is saying is you have to focus on a higher purpose. You have to focus on something that's more important than what other people think. If your mom was outside being tied, she was tied to like a railroad track, right? And you were in your underwear, all right? And you can't get dressed and you had to run outside in public and there's thousands of people watching you and you had to untie her from the railroad tracks or she's going to die. Do you care that other people saw you in your underwear? Do you fucking care? Even if you're like the most insecure motherfucker on the planet, you don't care. You might care after, but you don't care because you're saving your fucking mom, because you're saving someone that's important to you. That's what we're talking about. Find something that's so fucking important that it doesn't matter what other people think. I care so much. Like when I was starting out, I cared so much about being a guy that women were attracted to. I cared so much about not being fucking lonely, about knowing what I was doing when it came to talking to women. Like I wanted that so badly that I didn't care what other people thought. Like other people thought it was weird. Okay, fine. I don't care. I wanted to play video games all day so badly because I wanted to be like a pro gamer or whatever. So when I would talk about video games, if people thought it was nerdy, I didn't give a fuck. I would love talking about it. I just talked about it all the fucking time because it was something I was passionate about. And so it's like with this stuff, it's like you have to be able to care about it more than anything else, right? Because you don't actually care. Like, you know, it's about how much you care. Like it doesn't matter. Like you're always going to care about something. Like you're always going to care somewhat about what people think of you. I still care. I genuinely do care about what people think of me. But when I see like negative comments on a YouTube video or on a Facebook ad or something like calling me a virgin or a loser, YouTube's actually very positive. But like my Facebook ads is just like, you're a loser, you're a virgin, you look like you're 12, like all this type of shit. I kind of care, but not really. I don't actually care because I know that there's something way more important going on. I know that I'm doing something way, way more important and that my video being out there, it resonates with guys. And I know for a fact that's more important. So you really need to like just find something that is more important. Like, would you rather feel like a bitch your whole life? Like really, like a lot of you guys like just haven't thought about it. Like if you're worried about what other people think, right? And you're very worried about it. Say it's like, you know, it's a 9 out of 10, right? Find something that is a 10 out of 10. And for you, that might be like, okay, I'm so tired of worrying about what other people think. I don't want to be a bitch for the rest of my life. Think about how bad it would be to be just this little timid, shy little bitch for your whole life that's terrified to go after what you want for your entire life. You never go after anything you want in your life. You never reach any goals. You have all these ambitions, all these dreams that you can't go for because you're worried about what people think. And you have that your entire life. That's probably a 10. And so start running away from that. And that's a good place to start. Like if you start running away from that, it's okay because who gives a fuck what other people think at that point? Because it's life or death. Like when you start looking at failure or like, you know, not taking action or like the mediocre life, if you start looking at that as like death, like that's what I look at it as. It's death. It's like I would rather like do anything than give up because that is death. Like mediocrity is death to me. And so because of that, I just will never stop. I might dip into mediocrity occasionally, but I will continue to keep pushing because you have to keep pushing. You have to keep pushing. It's so fucking important. You have to find something that is like more important.
Yeah, and you might have to remind yourself like what's more important to you. With my content, I actually I don't know if you guys have noticed my content. If you follow my personal profile, I get like a decent amount of engagement on my questions compared to like a year ago. And that's intentional. I talk about things that I think people are going to respond to. And I have to remind myself now, we just talked about this on a meeting one morning, a few mornings ago, that I'm going to remind myself to speak to the person that I'm speaking to with my content and not speak to like the masses or whatever with dating advice. Like I'm going to speak to a very specific person, like our target audience, basically. And like the people that will really resonate with my message. And that's kind of what you need to do in daily life. I think sometimes I might just remind myself to do this throughout the day, like remind myself of what's really important. Like because I've been kind of scared to go out to the bar recently. When I get out there and I like to start talking to somebody, it's like, oh yeah, I've been here before, and I start to remember. I'm like, David Goggins says, like, in moments where we're scared, we tend to like forget how badass we are. We forget all of our experiences. The fact is, like, I've done it before. I've like talked to girls before. And when you have that experience, it's like you go out, you start talking to a girl, and then it just comes back. But that fear of going out is still kind of there. So I might use that, like going out to the bar and just like throughout the day, like, okay, what's actually important? Like what about my actions? What actions can I take right now that aligns with like what I actually want to do? Like getting a better financial situation, creating a better movement with what we're creating here. What actions are going to fall in alignment with that instead of like, I don't know, bullshit, little fears that come up. Because that, like the movement that we're creating, the people that we're helping, and like us taking care of our own shit, that's like way, way more important than me being scared to, I don't know, for example, post something that I don't think is going to get a lot of engagement, or that I think people are going to be offended by, or whatever fears come up, or like, people are going to judge me if I go out and I walk into the bar, people are going to laugh because I walk in alone and I look different or something. I don't know.
Yeah. Because at the end of the day, like if you are someone that has been scared of what people think for a long time and you want to take action on that, and you want to change who you are as a man and like become more grounded, more masculine, like you're going to have to fail, and you're going to have to like take actions that are different than what you've been taking like your whole life. One thing that we're doing like recently is that we're actually opening up access to all of the same resources that like our high paying clients that like get, they pay like $3,000 to work with us for 12 weeks and go through our entire coaching program. We're giving people access to like all the core stuff, all the training, all the examples, like live audio examples of like me going up and approaching women. Same thing with like, text examples. Also access to the WhatsApp group. That's like a private WhatsApp group where everyone in there is like at least invested like a few $100s into themselves and their own personal growth. We're giving that to guys for $500 for like the next 9 days. I think I'm going to change it on my birthday to $800. I'm going to up the price. So I wanted to mention that because we just talked about like, okay, this is what you need to do. Now, a lot of you guys need a game plan. And if you don't have the money for coaching, or you don't know us well enough to trust us to coach you, then, which is like totally fair, then you can hit me up in DMs and we'll talk about, even just like leave like a flex emoji in the chat, and I will hit you up and we'll talk about like getting you access to the course, because we can do payment plans on that. Because I know $500 is still expensive to some people. But I want to give like that resource because it's something that you guys can get access to, go through at your own pace, and also learn a lot of these masculine principles. All these principles that we talk about on our lives come directly from the course. Like it's all stuff that we preach to our clients. We talk to them about it on like the custom coaching calls. We talk to them about it one-on-one. We talk to them about it in the WhatsApp group that's like more private, so they get more access to us. It's like all that type of stuff. So if that's something you want, if you want the guidance, if you want the actual roadmap like laid out in front of you, that's like the best place to start, because you have live examples. And then obviously if you want coaching, we can talk about that. But that's more like for guys that, you're stuck at like a plateau and you need that push. So
Yeah. And
that's something I wanted to mention.
Yeah. And that offer also involves being able to chat over WhatsApp with our high paying clients. And I want to actually share a student of the week. I think this is a perfect time to.
Oh yeah.
All right. So these are some of the guys that you might be in contact with, or that you will be in contact with if you, if you hop into that. But yeah, biggest win this week. I don't know if Arna's watching. I didn't see his name pop up, but yeah, biggest win this week is Arna. So he last weekend went on a date with a girl at night, I believe. And he told me on the last group call that she actually ended up spending the night with him that night, and like the whole next day with him too. So I don't know, that was really cool. A lot of people were impressed by it. He said it kind of just nonchalantly, and then we had to like ask him it. We were like, wait, you spent like the whole night and the whole day with her the next day? He's like, yeah. So
Yeah.
like that's really cool.
Yeah. No, and by the way, like that's like his first date too. Like he came in, had gone on like maybe 2 or 3 dates before, like in his life. Like he's young, he's 18. And this was his first date. The girl's like 3 years older than him. Like he doesn't really know what he's doing. First night, she spends the night with him, and the whole day, which is like crazy. That's like a really good result, like a very cool experience. Because especially like he was a guy that like he doesn't even assume when he came in, he had a really hard time assuming that women were going to be attracted to him or thinking that women could be attracted to him. Like he was just like, no, they're not, like, they're not into me, and we had to work for actually a bit, like 2 or 3 weeks, specifically on just like getting to the point where it's like, yeah, bro, the girl liked you here, the girl liked you there. And that's like a big benefit of like the WhatsApp group, as well as like the coaching calls, where it's like, you can actually get, insight on like, oh shit, like the girl actually liked me, or like, oh wow, like I didn't think about how it works like that. And you can learn from other guys' experiences as well. So that was actually really sick, especially because it's like, it's like his first date and he already like is going on dates like that. It's pretty cool. Especially, I mean, it feels good because he's like using like the frameworks that like we give and stuff. So it's just, yeah, it's cool
Yeah.
stuff. I like that.
Yeah.